Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome back to the latest live stream edition of Clark Crawford Sports. There's a few things I want to get into today, mostly going to be talking about the Astros Brewers series, but also there's a few injury notes to get into, along with a couple of transactions I wanted to get into before I end today's live stream that I did not get to in my last video for the Astros versus Brewers series preview. With all that being said, I'm going to jump right into it. So the news that I missed in my last video were two things that I wanted to address: recent roster moves. Corey Julks and Brandon Belak in the past couple of weeks were designated for assignment, unfortunately for them. Corey Julks, a Houston native, was traded to the Chicago White Sox for a lower-level minor league pitcher named Luis Rodriguez, who's 20 years old. I don't expect too much out of him. He's never pitched higher than the Gulf Coast League out in Florida, so we don't know much about him, but at least the Astros got something out of him rather than lose him for nothing. The same goes for Brandon Belak, except Brandon Belak was traded to the Oakland A's for cash considerations. Nobody really knows how much cash considerations goes for when a player is traded for that, but nonetheless, good luck to both players for the remainder of their careers, as they were good additions to the Astros last year. For Corey Julks, had a decent year until he had a really bad slump in the middle of the year and then got demoted for the rest of the year and has not appeared in a major league game for the Astros this year. And then Brandon Belak, he spent several years here, up and down, but he was out of minor league options. So for Brandon Belak's sake, he's the odd man out, unfortunately for him. Next on the agenda for today's video is the injury updates for three players. First is Chas McCormick. He's played for AAA Sugarland and AA Corpus now in the past 10 days, not playing every day, plus minor league has every Monday off as well. So there's been some off days built in, among other things. And the latest injury update on Chas is he played today. And as long as all went well, and we'll find out sometime tomorrow, he's expected to join the club for the Angel series, which begins tomorrow. Not sure when he'll be activated, how soon it'll be, maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. But Chas's likely return to the Astros is imminent. So great news there. The only thing is, with Chas returning, you kind of have a logjam in the outfield now, and I expect Trey Cabbage to be the odd man out, to be demoted, because now you have McCormick coming back, Jake Myers, Mauricio Dubon, Joey Loperfido, and of course Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, who can all play outfield. Essentially, it's kind of a logjam right now, but with Chas coming back and definitely going to be needing some playing time, I expect Trey Cabbage to be the guy who gets sent down. Cabbage has played a couple of games, done a nice job filling in, but sorry for Trey Cabbage. There's just not room for 7 outfielders on this team, but luckily Dubon can play some infield, and if you needed him to, Loperfido could as well, to kind of get rid of some of that logjam in the major leagues right now for the Astros. It's a good problem to have. And Jake Myers is also hitting the ball extremely well. With back-to-back 3-hit games, he raised his average to over 300. We'll talk a little bit more about Jake Myers later on in the episode. Next up on the injury front is an update on Jose Urquidy. If you haven't heard already, Jose Urquidy made his second rehab start last night as he pitched for AA Corpus, going 4 innings, throwing 59 pitches. He's on track to return by the end of the month and is believed he will require one more rehab start. We do not know the date, so TBD, to be determined on the date and where it will be. If he pitches for AA or AAA, we'll find out sometime in the next probably about 5 days. And I expect he will pitch sometime next weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of this upcoming weekend for either AA or AAA. Just depends on where each team is playing, depending if they have like a West Coast trip or whatever. I haven't looked up if either is going to be at home, but likely if one or both is at home. If they're at home, he'll probably go pitch for AAA Sugarland. And if they're at home, he'll probably pitch for AA Corpus. But if they're both at home, he'll definitely go to Sugarland, I would believe. I don't think they have any intentions of sending him, like I said, all the way out to the West or the East Coast if one of them goes that far to play their next series, which begins Tuesday. And then last on the injury front is an update on Luis Garcia. We found out before the game today, before the game yesterday, Luis Garcia threw a 20-pitch bullpen session. So a bit of exciting news for Luis Garcia. He had begun a throwing program right around a month or so ago. I heard a bunch of injured players and pitchers were doing some throwing at Minute Maid Park before some of the games. And now Luis Garcia has excelled, and he's progressed all the way to throwing bullpen sessions. That's good news, but Luis Garcia is still a ways away. I would expect probably about a 2-month timetable on him, bringing it to probably right around the All-Star break or right after the All-Star break, the earliest we would hear from Luis Garcia. But a rehab stint, which would probably be 3 to 5 starts, probably closer to the 5-start mark, is potentially in the cards as long as he comes out of the bullpen session and feeling well the next few days. I would expect he could potentially throw a 30 to 40 to 50 pitch bullpen in his next couple of sessions, working his way up and progressing back from Tommy John surgery. So just a little update on Astros injured players who we hope to get back later this year. Some good news for all three. And with all of that, we're going to jump right into the Astros versus Brewers series, which just ended within the last hour. The Astros take the series against the Brewers. They end up winning the series 2-1. So good news for the Astros. They are now 21-26 on the road with a 13-13 home record. The Brewers, losing 2 of 3, are now 27-19, including a 15-10 road record. So Friday night's action, Jake Myers and Jeremy Pena homer as the Astros won the game 5-4. And at the time, that was their 6th straight win. Josh Hader in the game recorded his 6th save of the year. And, well, Jeremy Pena continued to swing a hot bat. He had a big 3-run homer in that game, which was the deciding factor. And the Astros were able to keep the Brewers' bats, mainly William Contreras and Christian Yelich and Willy Adames, their best 3 hitters, intact, as they were a combined 1-for-11. Also in Friday night's game, Hunter Brown went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks and 5 strikeouts, picking up his first win of the season. Now, a lot of people are going to probably, anyone watching, say, why are you talking about Hunter Brown? Well, he was a part of Friday, and it's exciting. He got his first win of the season. He hasn't pitched too well, but Hunter Brown nonetheless kept you in the game, and, well, he gets the win. So I think Hunter Brown deserves some recognition for that. And I'm going to talk about Hunter Brown because I know a lot of Astros fans, especially on X, formerly known as Twitter, have given up on Hunter Brown. But you know what? Here's the thing. I haven't given up on Hunter Brown. I still think he's going to be a good addition to this team. And when he figures it out, the Astros are going to roll and continue to roll as they have been in the past 2 weeks, as with the victories over the weekend. They've now won 9 out of their last 11, improving their record to 21-26. It doesn't sound, like a sexy record, but the Astros are right there. They're climbing their way up, and we'll take a look towards the end of this live stream at the AL West standings, and I'll give you an update how the other AL West teams have fared so far today. So that does it. That with Jake Myers' homer and Jeremy Pena's homer, they powered the Astros to the win, and also Kyle Tucker had 2 hits and 3 at-bats in Friday night's action. That moves us to Saturday, as the Brewers got the best of the Astros. The Brewers get the best of the Astros 4-2 with William Contreras, one of the best hitters in the league so far this year, definitely the best hitting catcher, hitting a mammoth 3-run homer off of Justin Verlander in the 5th inning, where the Brewers scored all 4 of their runs to win the game 4-2. Justin Verlander went 4 2/3, giving up 4 hits and the big 3-run homer, 4 runs, all of them earned, gave up all 4 of the runs in the game for the Astros, as even though his counterpart, Breece Wilson, only went 4 2/3 as well. He's more of a long reliever, and the Brewers kind of had a bullpen day in this game, and he outdueled Justin Verlander, only giving up 2 runs and 4 2/3. It's not a big-time outdueling Justin Verlander, but regardless, he outdueled Justin Verlander, and, well, he was better than Verlander on this day. William Contreras, for 1 for 4, the big 3-run home run, hitting his 7th homer, and he now has 37 RBIs on the year as of Saturday. He's been a monster. He should be, as I mentioned in my preview of the series, he should be the NL's all-star starting catcher. He's been incredible. I mean, the guy is just popping, getting hits all the time. He's got 7 homers on the year, and he's only 26 years old. Unfortunately, if he wants a major payday, he's probably going to need to ask out of Milwaukee. But for his sake, I hope he stays with the Brewers, and for the Brewers' sake as well, because, well, it's nice to have some parity in the league and not just have all the big-name players on one team. I hope he sticks around with the Brewers, and he's had a couple of nice years the past couple of years, and I hope they pay him rightfully so, because he's been excellent. And, I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's been great for them so far since he arrived there. That brings us to today's game, where the Astros win the game 9-4, and they powered their way through winning the matchup. As I said, 9-4. Astros score 9 runs on 14 hits. The Brewers score 4 runs on 10 hits, as the Brewers jump out to an early 1-0 lead. But then, luckily for the Astros, normally when they start slow and their pitchers give up an early lead, they have not won too many games yet this year. But even though Spencer Arrighetti gives up the 1 run in the top of the first, the offense responds with a 4-run bottom of the first, led by Jose Altuve with his 37th leadoff home run in his career. Also, Jake Myers, as I alluded to earlier, had 3 hits in back-to-back days, Saturday and Sunday, which the Astros win their 3rd straight series, and they're 21-26. Their 4-run inning was not quite enough, as they needed more, as Spencer Arrighetti blew up a little bit in the 7th. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the highlight of the day, other than Spencer Arrighetti, who pitched better than his pitching line is going to show, he picked up his 2nd win of the year, though, so congrats to Arrighetti, 4 wins and back-to-back starts. Kyle Tucker, the offensive hero of the day, 2 for 5 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs, a solo homer, and a 3-run shot. Now, before Kyle Tucker's solo homer, and the Brewers had made the game 6-4, I was sitting here going, man, the Astros just are not hitting with runners in scoring position again. They got in a couple of hits, but they're not really hitting home runs when guys are on base, and it just wasn't good. I mean, most of Jose Altuve's homers, as he hit his 8th homer of the year, have been solo shots, and Kyle Tucker's homer earlier in the game was a solo shot as well. And then luckily for the Astros, Kyle Tucker mashes a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th to help lead them to victory. Kyle Tucker was excellent yet again today. He's now got 15 homers and 33 RBIs on the season while hitting .287. Definitely off to the best start in his major league career for a season. He's been outstanding. Anyone has any problems with Kyle Tucker, come fight me, because the man's been incredible. The only problem I have is the Astros have not locked up Kyle Tucker yet to a long-term deal. And with the way he's performing so far this season, well, he's definitely earning himself a contract extension. And hopefully the Astros give it to him, because the man's hitting extremely well, and right now is the time to lock him up long term. Other news from the Astros today, Alex Bregman goes 1 for 3. He's now hitting 225. His average is slowly starting to creep up. He also had 2 walks today. Jordan goes 1 for 3 with a double and 2 walks. His average is at 254. Jose Altuve, 1 for 5, 2 runs scored. He's at 307 for his average. And Jake Myers, the big highlight, I think in the order, 302, 3 for 5 today with 2 big RBIs. And, of course, John Singleton, got to mention him, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He's hitting 233. Would love to see Singleton hover closer around 250, but John Singleton is at 233, so I can't complain too much. He's giving you more production than the former first baseman is of the Astros, and there's some news on him that I will address before I end today's video. And also Joey Loperfido, 2 for 3. He's hitting 333 in his young career to this point. The other highlight of today, Spencer Arrighetti, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Now, some of you may be thinking, why in the world is he mentioning Spencer Arrighetti? Well, Arrighetti pitched better than his stat line shows. He had 81 pitches through 6 innings, where at the time he had only given up 1 run. But Joe Espada puts him out there for the 7th, which I think was the right move. And also, I'm sick of hearing the criticism on Joe Espada. Well, I'll talk about that in another video. It was the right move to put Spencer Arrighetti back out there because I think it was a win-win of, well, it can't hurt him because he only has 81 pitches, because Arrighetti deserves to try to go out there and finish the 7th inning, which 6 1/3 is still a career high for him in innings pitched. I was hoping he'd get through the 7th, but he went and got himself into some trouble, giving up a couple of hits. And then, of course, the little dribbler down the first baseline that him and Victor Caratini, the only blunder, I would say, for Arrighetti, big blunder of the day that he needs to resolve. Him and Diaz or him and Caratini or whoever's behind the plate or whoever is pitching, they got to know who calls the ball. It's the same thing as a pop fly or a fly ball. Somebody take charge. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter at the end of the day who makes the catch, but somebody take charge. That should have been an easy out, and Spencer Arrighetti could have had 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, but unfortunately it ended up being a bases-loaded situation. Brian Abreu comes in and gives up 3 unearned runs for him, but they're charged to Spencer Arrighetti, so Brian Abreu lowers his ERA to 3.18 on the year, but he's lucky those were unearned runs for him. But Brian Abreu got out of the trouble just enough and kept the Astros with the lead. And then, of course, Kyle Tucker hits the monster 3-run homer, and that was it for the day. The Astros had the game under control. And hats up to Taylor Scott, lowering his season ERA to 1.96 as he went 2 innings, giving up 1 hit and no runs in the 8th and 9th innings. So another season highlight for Taylor Scott, continuing to pitch well on the year. He's been outstanding. Him and Seth Martinez are neck and neck for having the best seasons out of the bullpen easily for the Astros, with all the other guys struggling at one point or another. And the Astros win the series 2-1 against the Brewers, their 3rd straight series win. Now, taking a look at the rest of the division for the day, the Seattle Mariners lost to the Baltimore Orioles 6-3. So the Astros gain a full game on the first place Seattle Mariners. As of things stand right now during my live stream, they are 4 back of the Seattle Mariners. Now, the A's for the day lost to the Kansas City Royals 8-4. So the A's are now 3 full games behind you after sweeping them. The A's are kind of pretty much in a free fall right now. Not even kind of, they are. They've lost 8 in a row and 9 out of their last 10. They've been dreadful in the past 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks now, not just 10 days, but the past 2 weeks. They're now 19-30, a lot closer to the record we were expecting them to be. I thought they were improved, but I think they were a little overperforming so far in the year. But the A's were hanging in there for over a month. That's a lot better than they were the past 3 to 4 years. So the A's are probably kind of up and coming if they can get things rolling in the next couple of years. But for this year, the Astros should put enough distance in between them and continue to climb in the AL West. So the A's have lost and the Mariners have lost. For the Rangers and the Angels, they are playing a series, and in today's matchup, the Rangers lose to the Angels 4-1. So the Astros also gained a game on the Rangers today as well. That's huge news because that puts them 2.5 games behind the Rangers. No. Yeah, that puts them 2.5 games behind the Rangers for second place in the division. So the Rangers lose yet again today, and that's big news right there. So another loss for the Rangers is they are now at 500 at 24-24. Starting to think maybe a little bit of a World Series hangover for them, as also Adolis Garcia, even worse news for them with all their injuries that they've had as well. The Astros and Rangers have had a ton. Adolis Garcia was scratched today with forearm soreness. So more bad news for the Rangers, but good news for the Astros. I don't ever wish anything bad on them. I just want the Astros to pass them up in the standings. So the Astros have a good day. The Mariners and the Rangers lose, so they gain ground on both of them as they're only 4 back in the division. For as bad as things have been, that's a huge win for the season. And the Astros will continue their next series against the Los Angeles Angels starting tomorrow at Minute Maid Park. It's a 3-game series as Monday and Tuesday are night games, and Wednesday is the dreadful afternoon, ugly weekday game that I don't like, and I don't think many of you like as well. We like to be able to watch our Astros 6, 7 o'clock at night or even 5 o'clock, and I know a lot of people are going to unfortunately miss the game, and it really sucks. So that's about all I have for you today at Clark Crawford Sports. I recap the Astros and Brewers, injury updates for the team, and also farewell to Brandon Belak and Corey Julks. Best of luck in your new situations. I hope you succeed against 29 MLB teams, and I hope you succeed against the other 29 MLB teams other than the Astros in your career, unless you find your way back to Houston, which I don't know if that'll ever happen, but if you do, I'd welcome you back with open arms. So with all that being said, that'll do it here today here at Clark Crawford Sports. Thank you all for watching. I'll have an Astros versus Angels series preview coming out tomorrow on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see all of you in my latest Astros preview series coming up tomorrow.